Shedeur Sanders has faced defenders before, but Bernie Kosar says his toughest opponent might be his own team. During Cleveland's bye week, the former Browns quarterback opened up about the internal resistance suffocating the young signal caller's progress. Kosar described a system riddled with poor decisions, where politics outweigh performance and players like Sanders are sidelined in favor of safe choices, such as Dillon Gabriel. It was more than a critique. It was a warning from a man who's lived it. Kosar's words hit harder because they came from experience.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
He's seen what happens when an organization values control over creativity and ego over excellence. And now, he fears the cycle is repeating. Folder not found. Create new folder. Bernie Kosar speaking. For Kosar, the problem isn't Sanders. It's everything around him. He believes the Browns' fractured culture is stifling a quarterback with rare leadership and natural poise. Until the organization chooses trust over fear and development over damage control, Sanders' growth will remain stalled. Kosar's plea wasn't just for Sanders. It was for the soul of a franchise that keeps sabotaging its own future. Bernie Kosar has seen enough. During the Browns' bye week, when most former players would be playing nice or staying quiet, Kosar decided to speak out, and he didn't hold back. His target? The organization he once led on the field. His focus? Shedeur Sanders. Kosar's words weren't just high praise for a promising young quarterback. They were a blistering takedown of how the Cleveland Browns are mishandling him. Kosar didn't mince words. He believes the Browns are actively getting in the way of Shedeur's growth. And for a franchise with a long history of chewing up quarterbacks and spitting them out, that's a serious accusation. According to Kosar, Shedeur isn't just talented. He's special. The kind of quarterback who brings energy to the room and elevates everyone around him. It's not just about the physical tools, either. Kosar emphasized leadership, confidence, that undeniable presence a quarterback needs to have when everything around them is on fire. Kosar's been around the league long enough to recognize the difference between a good player and a potentially great one. In his eyes, Shedeur is the latter, and the Browns are completely wasting it. Instead of investing in his development, the Browns have benched him. They've sidelined one of the most exciting young talents in the organization, favoring quarterbacks who don't bring the same spark. Kosar specifically called out the choice to roll with Dillon Gabriel, a move he sees as settling for mediocrity when greatness might already be sitting on the bench. But the real issue, according to Kosar, runs deeper than game day decisions. This isn't just about who's starting or who's second string. It's about how the Browns operate as a team. Kosar pointed directly at the coaching staff, led by Kevin Stefanski, and accused them of letting politics, ego, and poor management interfere with player development. He painted a picture of an organization more interested in maintaining control than in cultivating talent. A team so bogged down in internal dysfunction that it's lost sight of the bigger picture. Kosar's frustration was clear. How many times does this franchise need to sabotage itself before someone steps up and fixes the culture? He didn't say Shedeur should be handed the starting job out of sentiment. He made it clear. Shedeur has earned the opportunity, not just because of his raw skill, but because of how he carries himself under pressure. Kosar described a player who's fighting two battles, one on the field and one inside the organization. That kind of pressure, Kosar warned, can crush young players. And if the Browns keep pushing Shedeur to the sidelines, they risk not only damaging his development, but wasting his future. Kosar's criticism wasn't subtle. He pointed to a broken system, one that no quarterback, no matter how talented, could thrive in. The Browns are dealing with internal chaos, mounting injuries, and a coaching strategy that doesn't seem to adapt. Kosar argued that you could put anyone under center right now and they'd struggle, because the structure around them is collapsing. That's why he's so concerned about Shedeur. Because talent needs more than just a jersey and a helmet. It needs a plan, a strategy, a coaching staff willing to invest, challenge, and grow with their quarterback. Kosar doesn't see that in Cleveland right now. What he sees is fear of giving up control, fear of being proven wrong, fear of letting a young player take the reins and lead. And yet, despite all of that, Kosar still believes in Shedeur. He doubled down on the fact that the kid has what it takes. He sees the confidence, the poise, the leadership, traits Kosar believes separate the average quarterbacks from the elite. According to him, Shedeur processes the game at a high level and leads even without being given the opportunity to play. That kind of mental strength is rare, and the Browns are squandering it. Kosar went further, suggesting that the system isn't just flawed, it's actively hostile to young quarterbacks. Not because of bad luck, but because of the decisions being made at the top. He believes the Browns are delaying Shedeur's progress, either intentionally or through neglect, and he questioned how many more uninspired losses it will take before they finally give the kid a shot. This wasn't a call for chaos. Kosar wasn't asking for the playbook to be thrown out or the locker room to be turned upside down. What he was asking for was basic common sense. Recognize the potential you already have and stop holding it back out of fear or ego. Kosar's take highlights something NFL fans have seen over and over. It's not just about having talent. It's about having a system that actually allows that talent to grow. Without leadership, without vision, without a culture that prioritizes development over control, players like Shedeur don't stand a chance. And if the Browns keep doing what they've always done, then they'll keep getting what they've always gotten: wasted seasons and a frustrated fan base. There's also something deeply revealing in the way Kosar compares Shedeur to others on the roster. It's not just about athleticism. It's about the way Shedeur inspires those around him. Kosar believes that leadership is what turns games. That presence, that energy, it doesn't show up in stats, but it's what gets the offense to believe in itself. And that's something Dillon Gabriel, in Kosar's view, just doesn't have. The Browns, Kosar said, are choosing predictability over potential, playing it safe instead of taking a real shot at turning the season around. And in doing so, they're not just losing games, they're losing the locker room. Because when players see talent being benched without reason, when they see politics outweigh performance, they start to check out. That's how dysfunction spreads. Kosar didn't just raise red flags. He basically set off a fire alarm. If the Browns continue down this road, Shedeur's potential will go unrealized. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because he was never given a fair chance. The system failed him before he could even prove himself. He urged the team to shift its mindset, to create an environment where talent is developed, not suppressed, where leadership is cultivated, not ignored, where the coaching staff trusts the player instead of micromanaging them into irrelevance. Because without that support, Shedeur's ability to thrive, even with his talent and confidence, becomes almost impossible. And that's what Kosar is trying to prevent. He's not asking for miracles. He's not asking for blind faith. He's just asking the Browns to stop being the thing that holds their own quarterback back. The Browns have a choice. They can stick with what's safe, what's familiar, and continue racking up losses while wasting one of the most promising quarterbacks they've had in years. Or they can listen to someone who's actually worn the jersey, someone who understands the stakes, and take the leap. Start building around a player who already leads like a veteran, even without the snaps to show for it, because in the NFL, potential doesn't last forever. And if the Browns wait too long, they might not just lose games, they'll lose Shedeur. If you've been watching this team and thinking, what are they doing? You're not alone. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Does Shedeur deserve the shot Kosar's calling for? Should the Browns finally make the move? Hit like if you're tired of seeing talent get buried. And subscribe if you want more deep dives into the meltdowns, drama, and chaos unraveling behind the scenes. Because this isn't just a football story. It's a wake-up. Bernie Kosar's words during the Cleveland Browns bye week were more than just a message about a young quarterback. They were a call to arms for the entire organization. A team that had once been the envy of a city, now hopelessly stuck in a cycle of dysfunction, is wasting a prime opportunity to revitalize itself with a quarterback who could change everything. And Bernie Kosar, a legend in his own right, wasn't going to let that go unnoticed. Kosar's frustration wasn't just about Shedeur Sanders sitting on the bench. It was about something deeper: the persistent failure of the Browns to develop talent, to create a culture of growth, and to fix the internal chaos that has plagued this franchise for decades. For Kosar, it's not just about this season, but about the long-term direction of the team. If the Browns don't stop sabotaging themselves, they might never get the chance to become a contender again. Kosar's comments about Shedeur Sanders were filled with admiration. The kind of admiration you give a player who walks into a situation with confidence and energy that lifts everyone around him. Shedeur is not just a quarterback, according to Kosar. He's a leader. He's got that rare quality that makes teammates want to follow him. His presence alone can change the mood in a locker room. But, as Kosar pointed out, that kind of leadership isn't enough if the system around you is broken. And right now the Browns system is as fractured as ever. In his analysis, Kosar was clear. The Browns are actively doing nothing to help Shedeur reach his potential. He's not just being benched, he's being sidelined in a way that discourages his development. Kosar made the bold claim that it isn't just a case of bad luck or a tough situation. This is an active mismanagement of talent. When you have a young quarterback with Shedeur's skills, you don't keep him sidelined for long periods. You give him the chance to grow, especially when your other options aren't inspiring much confidence. But the Browns? They've been too caught up in internal politics, ego-driven decisions, and misguided loyalty to players who simply aren't on Shedeur's level. Kosar didn't just criticize the decisions being made on Sundays. He attacked the entire approach of the Browns organization. The coaching staff under Kevin Stefanski, he argued, is caught in a web of failure, unable or unwilling to make the necessary changes to help the team succeed. And Kosar isn't just criticizing from the sidelines as a fan or a commentator. He's speaking from experience. He's been through it. He knows what it takes to make it in this league. And the harsh truth is, the Browns have become so obsessed with control, with managing the narrative, that they're sacrificing their future for the sake of avoiding uncomfortable truths. That's the real issue, according to Kosar. The Browns' leadership is obsessed with control. It's easier to keep things in-house, maintain the status quo, and avoid shaking things up. But that approach isn't working. It's never worked. For a franchise that has suffered through so much mediocrity, it's shocking how little has changed in terms of how the organization is run. Instead of focusing on development, trust, and leadership, the Browns are more interested in holding onto power and avoiding the appearance of failure. But what does that mean for Shedeur Sanders? It means his future is being held hostage. It means the Browns have a player who could potentially be the face of the franchise, and instead of developing him, they're letting him waste away on the bench, far from the field where he could help them win. Kosar made it clear that Shedeur has the tools. It's not just about the physical talent, it's about leadership, presence, and mental toughness. These are the traits that separate good quarterbacks from great ones. Shedeur has the confidence, the ability to process the game quickly, and the self-belief that every quarterback needs to survive in the NFL. These aren't just qualities that help you survive, they're the traits that help you thrive. But they're only effective if you have the right system around you. And, in Cleveland, that system is missing. Kosar argued that the Browns are squandering their best asset, holding Shedeur back with poor decision-making and a toxic internal culture. Instead of putting the team's best player on the field and giving him the tools to succeed, the organization is pushing him into a corner. The coaching staff is too stuck in their ways, too concerned with protecting their jobs, to take the necessary risks. They're playing it safe, and in doing so, they're missing the opportunity to put the team on a new path, one that could potentially transform the franchise. This dysfunction within the organization has a ripple effect on everyone. The players feel it. The fans feel it. And that's the real tragedy here. The Browns have an opportunity to put a young, talented player in a position to succeed, and they're letting it slip through their fingers because of a broken culture that refuses to change. The core of Kosar's message was simple. The Browns need to get out of their own way. They need to stop treating Shedeur Sanders like a backup and start treating him like the future of the franchise. If they keep pushing him aside, if they keep prioritizing ego and control over development and performance, they risk losing him forever. And worse, they risk wasting another season and another generation of talent for nothing. This isn't just about Shedeur Sanders. It's about the very future of the franchise. If the Browns continue down this path of mismanagement, they may never get another chance like this. The NFL is full of talented quarterbacks, but few have the leadership, the mental toughness, and the ability to elevate a team the way Shedeur does. To keep him sidelined, to waste his prime years, is not just a bad football decision. It's a catastrophic failure of leadership. This is personal. He's been through the highs and lows of being a Browns quarterback. He knows what it takes to succeed, and he knows what it feels like to be part of an organization that holds you back. He's seen firsthand the damage that internal dysfunction can do to a player's career. And he's not about to sit quietly while he watches it happen again. Kosar's comments were a wake-up call to anyone who's been watching the Browns from the outside. The team has talent. It has potential. But it's being held back by a culture of fear, ego, and control. The Browns need to change. They need to recognize the leadership they have in Shedeur Sanders and let him lead. They need to create a system where talent is nurtured, where quarterbacks are developed, and where players can thrive. Without that, they're doomed to repeat the same mistakes that have held them back for years. Now it's time for the Browns' leadership to make a decision. Will they continue to let fear and politics dictate their future, or will they take the bold step of empowering Shedeur Sanders to be the quarterback he's meant to be? The answer will define not just this season, but the direction of the franchise for years to come. Bernie Kosar's words echoed like a clarion call to the Cleveland Browns, and it's clear now, he's not just talking about Shedeur Sanders. He's speaking directly to the heart of everything that's wrong with this franchise. The frustration that Kosar expressed isn't just about one player sitting on the sidelines. It's about a team, an entire organization that's letting precious talent rot away, all because of a toxic internal culture that refuses to grow. Kosar's take is more than just an opinion. It's a warning. The Browns, with all their potential, are teetering on the edge of a disastrous future. They've wasted enough years already. The question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders can turn the team around. It's whether the Browns are capable of getting out of their own way long enough to let him do it. For Kosar, the bottom line is this. The Browns need to change their approach, and fast. The team's inability to see Shedeur's potential is not just a missed opportunity. It's self-sabotage. A young quarterback with his kind of energy, leadership, and raw talent doesn't come around often. And yet, the Browns have decided to keep him on the sidelines, clinging to older, less capable quarterbacks. The decision to bench Shedeur while giving less talented players a chance isn't just a poor decision. It's a failure in leadership. This is where Kosar's critique is brutal. The organization isn't just failing to support Shedeur, they're actively inhibiting his growth. The Browns aren't just making bad decisions in a vacuum. These decisions are part of a pattern of dysfunction that has plagued this franchise for years. Coaches, front office staff, and decision-makers are making choices based on ego and fear rather than what's best for the team. And while the Browns keep clinging to their outdated ways, Shedeur remains benched, his potential slipping further away. Kosar wasn't just talking about football. His words were a stark reminder of how toxic environments kill careers, even when a player has everything they need to succeed. He's seen it before. The Browns have had great players, legendary athletes, but they've never been able to create a system where those players can truly flourish. It's like the team is allergic to success. Anytime a player shows the potential to be great, the system crushes them before they can rise to the occasion. What makes Kosar's frustration even more poignant is the fact that he knows exactly what it takes to thrive in Cleveland. He's lived through the highs and lows, and he understands the immense pressure that comes with being a Browns quarterback. Kosar knows how much leadership matters, how vital confidence is, and how a quarterback's presence can inspire an entire locker room. That's why he's so passionate about Shedeur Sanders. The kid has it all: leadership, talent, and the rare ability to bring teammates together. But it's like the Browns can't see that. They've become so obsessed with control and keeping the status quo that they can't recognize what's standing right in front of them. Kosar's message is clear. The Browns need to make a choice. Do they stick with the same tired, ineffective strategies and continue to play it safe? Or do they make a bold decision and give Shedeur the opportunity he deserves? Because if the Browns keep sitting on their hands, they might just lose everything. If they keep benching Shedeur, if they keep playing politics instead of putting the best players on the field, they're not just hurting this season. They're hurting the long-term future of the franchise. It's one thing to squander a game or a season. But when you waste the potential of a player like Shedeur Sanders, that's something far worse. It's wasting a generation's worth of hope. Kosar believes the Browns have a special player on their hands, one who could be the foundation of the team's future. But he's not just talking about Shedeur's arm strength or his ability to read defenses. It's the leadership. It's the fact that Shedeur has the tools to bring out the best in everyone around him. He's not just a quarterback, he's a leader. But to truly lead, to live up to that potential, he needs the system and the support to back him up. Without it, even the brightest talent can fade away. And that's what Kosar's trying to prevent. He's seen what happens when a quarterback's confidence is crushed, when a team fails to create an environment where a young player can grow. If the Browns continue down this path, they're not just wasting Shedeur's potential. They're wasting the team's future. Kosar's plea is not just for Shedeur, it's for the entire Browns organization. The franchise needs to recognize the power of leadership, the importance of supporting their young players, and the necessity of a system that allows talent to thrive. It's not just about having the right players, it's about giving those players a chance to succeed. And while the Browns have the chance to change the course of their future, the clock is ticking. They can't afford to sit idly by and wait for things to change on their own. If they continue to let internal politics, egos, and poor decisions define their strategy, they'll keep sinking further into mediocrity. What happens next is crucial. The Browns have the opportunity to break the cycle, to finally build a team that works. It's all about putting Shedeur in the position to succeed. It's about trusting his leadership, embracing his potential, and giving him the shot he deserves. If they do that, they might just unlock the talent that could change the entire franchise. If they don't, they risk losing. The question is, will they change? Will they finally see Shedeur Sanders for what he is, a rare talent capable of taking the team to new heights? Or will they once again fall into the trap of comfort, of playing it safe, of wasting another opportunity? Let's see what happens. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Browns are making a mistake by not starting Shedeur? Is the organization holding him back? Hit like if you think it's time for a change. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates on the Browns and the drama that unfolds week after week. The future of the franchise is on the line. Will they rise to the occasion?